Hello again. This is the part two of lesson one. So now let's talk about the cube model. So the cube model is a prioritization tool developed in 2000 to address questions such as where, how, and with whom do we begin a communication strategy? What communication strategies are to be used and when? How do we assess the problems, prioritize the issues to be addressed, and ensure resources for the actions? Though developed for use with HIV and AIDS programs at the district level, the CUBE model can be adopted for other programs. Broadly speaking, the CUBE model helps conduct a systematic assessment of the project area along three specific parameters in order to select and prioritize sites, groups, and communication strategies for the project, as described in this figure. After initial mapping is done, the next is to assign priority for each of these factors within three dimensions. Program managers can assign priority to each of the factors within each dimensions using a scale ranging from 1 to 3. 3 is the highest, 2 average, and 1 lowest. The first and second dimensions determine the problem priority for a specific area. The third dimension, partners and resources, helps select the type of communication strategy for each zone. And then, as a result, there will be a communication strategies for all zones, though the types of strategy will differ. So this is the example of the three parameters for mapping a prioritization. Next, to implement the cube model. So in implementing this model, the team sticks to the minimum or should sticks to the minimum package of activities defined by the Ministry of Health or the Department of Health that is to be implemented in the communities. Monitoring and evaluation meetings are conducted through the M&E task force. So an M&E task force should be established also. And then the program should integrates existing social educational services implemented by different ministries or departments. Like for example, your program is about malnutrition. So we have each first 1,000 days program or the F1KD. So you can integrate it or link it to other programs of, for example, the Department of Agriculture. They promote backyard gardening for households, for households, especially to 4-piece beneficiaries. So that is an example on how to integrate your program to other agencies' programs. So let's move to the 8-step communication planning model. This model provides an effective blueprint for communication planning, regardless of where you are in your program. It is based on the theory and practice of social marketing, which adopts commercial marketing techniques to influence people to take recommended action or make positive changes in their lives. So let's discuss each step. So we have the step 1. The purpose of step 1 is to realistically assess your program by articulating your successes to date and your perceived challenges. So start with a thorough assessment of your current situation. So here are the example or guides or the following list uh, that contains types of questions you should consider as you work through the first step. And then with this, you should then conduct a SWOT analysis. So this is an excellent tool for taking stock of your of where your program is right now. So alongside with this, keep in mind the following: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So the second step is set measurable communication goals and objectives. So these are the guide that you can use. Your communication goals should support your objectives or help sustain your program. And then set communication goals that ultimately, I mean, to seek engage, to seek to engage, raise awareness, and ultimately change behavior, for example. Next, let's have step 3, define your intended audiences. So bear in mind the audiences you choose to reach early in your program may or may not be the audiences you most need to reach later. For example, you may spend your first year or two focused entirely on engaging students, teachers, parents. You may want to keep students as your key audience for sustainability, but you may want to focus on adding community partners, policy makers, local chief executives, and many more to your communication efforts. So next, let's have step 4, develop and pre-test your messages to those audiences. So in developing messages, remember, it's not what you want to tell them. It's what they can hear. So tap into an existing thought, idea, or value of your intended audience based on all that you have learned about them, instead of telling them what they should think or do. Next step is the fifth step is select the best ways to deliver those messages. So this step guides you to select the channels, activities, and materials you will use to deliver your message. So let's have here the channels. You have people, newspapers, television, schools, NGOs, malls, etc. For activities, you could have align it with Suicide Prevention Week presentation, like if your topic will be on mental health, community events, public testimony, and materials. You could use fact sheets, news releases, reports, bookmarks, posters, etc. Next, create, or the sixth step, create an action plan for communications. So in this step, this is to determine where or when and how each task will be done to successfully implement your communication plan. Next, we have step 7, develop and pre-test any materials you create. So in this step, this is to ensure that your materials will resonate with intended audience before they are produced and used. And now, lastly, or finally, implement your plans, evaluating and modifying as needed. So in the last step, to determine if the plan is meeting your communication goals, and if not, to make appropriate and timely modifications to ensure success of your program. All right, so let's go to the last model, the P process. So the P process is used to develop communication programs addressing a wide range of topics, such as encouraging safer sexual behavior to prevent HIV transmission, promoting child survival, reducing maternal mortality, increasing contraceptive prevalence, and etc. So, for the P process, we have 5 steps here. First is we have analysis. Second, we have strategic design. The third step is development and testing. So similar to 8-step planning model, there is a development and testing of your materials and messages. And then step 4, you have, of course, implementation and monitoring. And lastly, you have evaluation and replanning, which measures all how well a program achieves its objectives and etc. So remember, in the P process, after all the steps have been done, we need to keep in mind that there should be a participation and capacity strengthening. So monitoring and feedback are essential elements of a good management. So these are the guides to remember. To, to summarize all of this, these different models or frameworks that development organization use in implementing social marketing or strategic communication can provide us with the key steps that we can have go through if we are to implement a social marketing. So to summarize this, you can have the key steps by Duxbury here, step 1 to 8. What is the campaign purpose? What is the campaign yeah focus in, etc. So for the discussion, I am very interested to hear your thoughts on this. I encourage you all to participate in the discussion. Thank you for watching.